The Kingdom of Ayutthaya is a Thai kingdom that existed from 1350 to 1767. King Ramathibodi I of the Ayutthaya Dynasty founded Ayutthaya as the capital of his kingdom in 1350 and absorbed Sukhothai 640 kilometers to the north in 1376. Over the next 4 centuries, the kingdom expanded to become the nation of Siam, whose borders were roughly those of modern Thailand, except for the kingdom of Ayutthaya in the north. Ayutthaya was friendly towards foreign traders, including the Chinese, Vietnamese, Indians, Japanese, and Persians, and later the Portuguese, Spanish, Dutch, and French were permitted to set up villages outside of the city walls. The court of King Nari, 1656 to 1688, had a strong link to King Louis XIV of France, whose ambassadors compared the city in size and wealth to Paris. Conservative factions in Nari's court, however, were suspicious of the foreigners, and after his death, his successor initiated a 150-year period of relative isolation. King Boma Ratchatiat I, or King Borom Ratchatiat, also known as Kunuang Pa Nua 1370 to 1388, was the third king of Ayutthaya. As Lord of Suphannaphum, a powerful rival of Ayutthaya, he forced King Ramasuan from power and took the throne of Ayutthaya. Known as a great warrior, his reign marked the expansion of Ayutthaya to the north. He suppressed a rebellion in the Sukhothai kingdom and subjugated major northern powers such as P. Sanwulok. Invading Chiang Mai, his forces were defeated and repulsed at the Battle of Sin Sunak, fought on the outskirts of Chiang Mai. After his death in 1388, his son, Tonglan, reigned for only a week. Ramasuan, who had previously retreated to Lavo, returned and toppled him. Ramasuan then assumed the throne as the king for the second time. The child king is known as Tonglan in most historical sources, including the British Museum Chronicle, the Luang Prioset Chronicle, and the Ban Chanomat Chronicle. Tong means gold, and Lan is an archaic word whose meaning is not known. The Kingdom of Ayutthaya was jointly founded by the royal houses of Ayutthaya and Suphannaphum, which were related through marriage. The first monarch of Ayutthaya, Ramathibodi I, was from Ayutthaya. He appointed his son Ramasiwan the ruler of Lopburi. He also appointed Boma Ratchatiat I, his relative from Suphannaphum, the ruler of Suphanburi. In 1369, Ramathibodi I died. Ramasuan came from Lopburi and succeeded him to the throne of Ayutthaya. In 1370, Borama Ratchatiat I marched his army from Suphanburi to Ayutthaya. Ramasuan then presented the throne to him and returned to Lopburi as before. Borama Ratchatiat II, also known as King Sempraya, reigned from 1386 to 1448. His reign saw early expansions to the southeast and north. He was the son of Ayutthaya, who had finally taken the Ayutthaya throne for the Suphannaphum Dynasty. He had 2 elder brothers, Prince Ayutthaya and Prince Yipraya, and was appointed by his father to govern China. In 1424, Ayutthaya died. His 2 brothers marched from their respective cities to Ayutthaya for the throne. They fought on elephants in single combat and both died, leaving the throne to Sempraya. In 1433, Sempraya led Siamese forces to subjugate Cambodia, plundering Angkor. This assault eventually caused the Khmer to abandon Angkor and to relocate their capital further southeast. He ordered Nakhonen to rule in Cambodia. Later, the Nakhonen died. He appointed the Prince of Prak, his other son, to reign in Cambodia, but the prince was assassinated by Bonhia Yat, therefore allowing Bonhia Yat to become king instead of the prince. Bonhia Yat relocated the capital to Chattahoochee, primarily to escape the influence of Siam and wanting to move the center closer to the sea to further promote maritime trade. This conquest, however, was not without consequence, as it brought a large influx of Khmer culture and traditions into the Siamese court. For example, the high reverence of Thai kingship as a deity known as Devaraja came from Cambodia. King Sampraya also sought northern expansion. He married a daughter of the vassal prince of Sukhothai, Maha Dhamaraja IV, and had a son who would grow up to become Prince Ramasuan. When the last king of Sukhothai died in 1446, his grandson inherited the kingdom, further strengthening Ayutthaya's control over Sukhothai. In 1442, Chao Sampraya led his armies to conquer Lana. He managed to sack the capital of Chiang Mai, but was unable to conquer the kingdom. Chao Sampraya died in 1448 and was succeeded by his son, Prince Ramasuan. Prince Ramasuan, not to be confused with King Ramasuan, who reigned from 1369 to 1370, was born in 1431 to King Bomaraja Thiat II. Some authors claim that his mother was a princess of Sukhothai, a daughter of Ayutthaya. According to historian Michael Vickery, however, this is not verifiable in historic sources and may be due to a misreading or misinterpretation of the chronicle. Bororamapan of Sukhothai died in 1438. Bomaraja II of Ayutthaya annexed Sukhothai and installed his own son, the 7-year-old Prince Ramasuan, as viceroy, or Uparaja, of Sukhothai. When Ramasuan was 15 years old, the king sent him to Pitsanulak, which had replaced the city of Sukhothai as capital in 1430, to rule the former territories of Sukhothai, which were now known as the northern cities, Muang Nuap, and increase the control of the ruling family over them. Bomaraja II died in 1448. Prince Ramasuan was then crowned King Borama Trilakonat, making him a personal union of Ayutthaya and Sukhothai. Borama Trilakonat reformed the Thai bureaucracy. The system lasted well into the 20th century. He separated civil and military officers, giving them titular ranks and feudal ranks to create the hierarchy of nobility or life nobles. He also established the mandalas, inner cities, outer cities, and tributaries. He also stopped the tradition of appointing royal princes to govern cities, as they had always clashed with each other in times of succession. He also promulgated Ayutthayan law in 1458. The traditional ministries of Thailand, the Kalahom, predecessor to today's Ministry of Defense, and the Mahathai, precursor to the Ministry of Interior, were introduced by the king. Originally, they were meant to serve as simultaneous military and civil greater offices of state for the North and South, respectively. Also in his reign in 1454, noble titles were first codified under the hierarchy system called Sakdina. Each subject was given a numerical ranking corresponding to the number of rai of land that he controlled. As for royal ranks, he adopted the position of Uparaja, translated as deputy king, viceroy, or under king, usually held by the king's senior son or full brother, or the sons of their queens, in an attempt to regularize the succession to the throne, a particularly difficult feat for polygamous dynasties. In practice, there was an inherent conflict between king and Uparaja, and frequent disputed successions. He appointed his eldest son Uparaja of Ayutthaya while he lived in Phitsanulok for 25 years, keeping Chiang Mai under control. Eventually, a younger son was made Uparaja of Phitsanulok, junior to the Uparaja of Ayutthaya. This concludes our quick look at the Suphannaphum Dynasty. We sincerely hope you enjoyed it. If you ever find yourself in the Kingdom of Thailand, please consider looking into this fascinating aspect of Thai history. If you found this video entertaining or informative, please give us a like and subscribe. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. Also, if you would like to help support us, please find the link to our Patreon page below. We have provided affiliate links in the description for hotel, travel, and car rentals. If you would like us to cover any places or topics related to Thailand or Southeast Asia, just ask and we will try to accommodate you as quickly as possible. Until next time, thanks for watching.